Here's my problem with cybersecurity, and nobody ever talks about it. We never bring it up or anything like that. We always talk about the hiring process. There's not enough people being hired for entry level, the issue of entry level, hiring managers. We talk about strong passwords. We talk about updates. We talk about antivirus and all this other kind of stuff. But here's what we don't talk about. The real problem is the personal information we have to share to access our accounts when we should have access, full access to our accounts and be able to do what we have to call customer service for, linking cards and stuff like that, linking accounts to log in and all that. Now that other stuff is an option to do and you don't have to do it, but many times you have no choice because that's the way the platform is set up. You have to link your card. You have to link your account for this. You have to set up an email account. You have to do all this. And sure, you can set up dummy email accounts specifically for that account, but it's just a lot of work that you have to get into a lot of these platforms once they become popular. The other thing too is calling customer service. The first thing they say, your call may be monitored or recorded, and you can't just give your account information to that. Oh, that doesn't work. We need to get your mother's maiden name, your social security number, and date of birth. Well, these calls are being monitored and recorded, so tell me how the security is. That these are the real issues when it comes to this kind of stuff, and no one steps up to try to end it or anything like that. You have to give this information to change a password on your account, or to many of them you have to send emails in. I've come across accounts where you don't have the option to delete. You have to send them an email, let them know that you want to delete your account, and then they have to get back to you. Then you have to log in your password and so forth like that. These are big issues, but linking your card, linking your bank account. The other thing too is with certain accounts where you get free trial for 30 days or free trial for this, but you have to put in your credit card information, you have to put in your bank information first. So for that whole 30 days, they have your credit card information, they have your bank account information, and you have no choice. It may be a site that you want to use or that you use that's important to you. These are the real issues of cybersecurity. These are the real issues out there. It's not nothing to do with strong passwords or anything like that. Look, these breaches, these hacks are happening on a database. They get into the database, they got the personal information on there. Changing your password isn't going to make much. Sure, you change your password, they have the old password and stuff like that, but that doesn't matter. They already have your information. They have your information on there, your personal information. They're breaking into the database. We don't control the database. The company controls it. The site controls it. That's who controls the database. That's where your information is being held. And these are issues that no one talks about. These are the real problems that are out there with all this kind of stuff. Link your card, link your account. You see the things with the logging into accounts and stuff like that. It's called federated login. Federation is what it's called, is the term. And what it is you log in with Facebook or you log in with Google. So you just click on that, you log into your Facebook account, and that logs you into other stuff. So now your information is just being laid around, laid around, laid around. It's like going into a restaurant, leaving your card on the table and say, I eat here a lot, so I'm just going to leave my card here next time I come in. Just grab my card. Or maybe they have it on file. So next time you come in, they're like, okay, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so, we'll just put it in. That's where they're at. That's what they get away with. This is what they get away with. And there's no accountability for any of this. But these are issues that nobody talks about. These are the problems with cybersecurity. The easiest solution is, and the weakest, and just basically the weakest response that you get is, well, find another way, or don't use that site, don't use that restaurant. That makes no sense. That's weak. That's no solution. There's no solutions being looked into for any of this kind of stuff. You look at all these high-end people, these CFOs and these CTOs and all these C-suite people and all these people that have these big C-suite CompTIA certifications and stuff like that have all this stuff. Nobody talks about that. They all talk about, well, you need stronger passwords or we need two-factor authorization. That solves nothing on that. Suppose you don't have that phone number, or you constantly got to keep up on this stuff because these sites don't want to keep up on it. They don't want to do the work. They just want to get paid. They don't want to be held accountable for anything. And you see all these breaches and breaches and breaches that are going on and hacks that are going on and stuff. But once you hear about it, you never hear the end result. Well, what happened after that? Okay, 185 million accounts were hacked or breached. All the information was taken. Hackers have the information. We recommend you change your password. Again, with the password. Again, you have to do it. You have to change the password. Now that means it's off their hands. Nothing's been done. We can't talk about that. And I'm not in an angry mood. I'm not in a bitter mood. I'm in a great mood. But it's just ridiculous how nobody talks about this. You see all these conferences and these hackathons and all this other kind of stuff. How to do this, how to do that, get certified in this, how to get into cybersecurity. Nobody talks about how to get into IT, how to get into cybersecurity. Everybody wants to get into cybersecurity. They look at all this experience and stuff like that, but nobody talks about the real issues. The real issues they talk about are the hiring process. They talk about, well, we don't have enough people to fill the jobs. That's not the problem. The problem is the platform. The problem is there's no solutions being found. These are the real problems. This is what's happening out there. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. The more we go to a cashless society, it's going to get worse. I see it with vending machines. You have to have a credit card. Everything's got to be a credit card. If you have a debit card, well, they take money from that. They take $5. If you want to buy a $1.50 soda or $1.75 soda or whatever it is, a snack machine or sodas or something like that, they take $5. Put that on hold until that $1.75 clears. Then you get the balance back. That could take 3 to 5 days. That adds up. You know, even if you're not somebody that buys from the snack machine a lot, every now and then you're in the mood to buy, a soda or something like that, or other. Not everybody has a credit card. I've never had a credit card. I've always used a debit card. And it's just gotten worse over the years with debit cards and how they just keep taking money from people, fees and fees and fees. And we talk about know your value and know your worth when it comes to jobs and getting into jobs and demanding your pay rate and demanding this and this and this. Wages are not the problem. But again, this is a situation that nobody talks about. Wages are not the problem. Cost is the problem. These incidents with these pay things that are going on, PayPal and all this other kind of stuff. You have to use PayPal. You have to link to PayPal, or you have to link to this site, or you have to link your card to that site, and you have to put money into these accounts to use these accounts. You can no longer use your own bank anymore. You have to use all these third-party accounts. So now your information's just laying out there. It's basically, like I said, just leave your card at the restaurant that you use, and whenever you go back in there, they just swipe your card. POS systems are the worst when it comes to cybersecurity with information. It's just getting worse. 2022 is going to be a disaster when it comes to financial issues. People losing their money, losing their accounts, being locked out of their accounts and stuff like that. And these are the things that nobody's talking about. These are the things that nobody discusses. This is where the problem is. But we can't talk about that. We have to say the end user has to use a strong password. That's always the solution. This is what some CompTIA, and I'm not attacking CompTIA or anything like that. I'm just using them because they are the biggest when it comes to certifications. They are the most recognized when it comes to certifications in the field. So that's why I mention them. That's all. Not an attack on them. It's not their fault or anything like that. I'm just saying they're the big one to get the certification from. So that's why I mention them. So you have a certification for a CASP or a CYSA or any of the other big ones or anything like that. You have these project management ones or everything like that. Okay, well, these project managers and these CISP and all these other people are sitting at their desktop at work, or they're sitting at their desk, or they're sitting on their laptop at work or anything like that, and their laptop don't boot up. Most of them don't know how to fix that. You've got a CYSA certification. You're better than an A+ guy. But you've got to call that A+ guy because your laptop went down. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the level amount of things that people talk about when it comes to information technology. I say there is a difference between cybersecurity and IT. There's a big difference between the two, but we can't talk about that. Can't talk about any of that because if you don't work in the field, if you don't have one of them titles in your name or anything like that, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just running off at the mouth then. You can't be recognized. You can't be taken serious because you're not in the field. That makes no sense. And I've started seeing more. I mentioned this a long time ago about hackers. They're not certified. They don't have years of experience. They just sat down one day and started tinkering at a laptop, started doing this and this, doing Google searches, looking on YouTube, doing research, and they hacked into a bank. They hacked into the government. They hacked into their local university, and so on and so on and so on. They did all this. Should they be accountable? Should they be arrested? They're not certified, so the hack never happened, right? That's how I see it. A lot of people are learning online. I learn online. They find these sites, these free sites or small subscription sites or anything like that. They go on YouTube. There's many reputable sites that you go on YouTube or you go online and you find these reputable sites. You go through the course and you learn on your own. You're not paying $50,000 for some university to get this big fancy degree or anything like that. It shows that you took the course, you learned, you met the minimum requirements to complete the course and go through the course. And some of them ain't just so cut and dry. Some of them you actually got to do research. You have to do the work. You have to put in the labs. You have to do it all yourself. You have to do all this kind of stuff, do all this. You have to read the manuals. You have to read the chapters and go through all this. But we just come at this whole situation with cybersecurity and the failure of the cyber war and everything like that at the wrong end. We come at it from the wrong direction. And it's just ridiculous that it gets out of control and how the losses that are happening. Hospitals are getting hacked. Hospitals are getting hit. You know, all these certain industries are getting hit, and it's almost every day. And all we do is we look at, well, do you have multi-factor? It's always the end user that's the problem. It's the end user that's the problem. They have to change it. It's the customer that's the problem. Blame the customer. That's how it always comes back at. Change your password or get multi-factor authorization. It's your fault that the database was hit. It's your fault that your information was stolen. That's the solution that we come up with. That's the solution that the experts came up with. I don't know. Like I said, it's not an event video or anything like that, but it's just I share my experiences. I've not been hacked or breached or anything like that, luckily. I try to be as careful as I can online. But when I first started learning all this, when I first started getting into learning it and trying to figure out where I want to settle in at and what I want to focus on and stuff like that, then I started coming across all this stuff. And it's just gotten ridiculous. It's gotten out of hand where the focus is and what the problem is. And it all comes down to that. The end user is the problem. The person is the problem. Not the database, not the company, not the CTO, not the, the big wig, the CEO or anything like that of the company or anything like that. It's you, the customer, because you logged into their site. You put their information on there. There's so many basics that people that got to learn when it comes to their laptop and stuff like that. There's a lot of settings on your laptop that people don't even know that put you at risk. When you get a laptop, you take it out of the box. Many people just don't. They just want to get on their Wi-Fi and start going, okay, this done, this done, this done, this done. Okay, I'm in Facebook. Oh, Meta now. It's not Facebook anymore. It's Meta. I gave you up Facebook 2 years ago. Just deleted the account. Done with it. But so many people just do this. They get their laptop, they open it up, they get connected to their Wi-Fi. They might go through a couple settings or anything like that. They might delete a few apps or anything like that. And that's it. They're good to go. They're logging into their social media accounts. They're checking their email. They're doing this, they're doing that. They're on YouTube. They're doing this, they're doing that. There's a lot of settings that you got to go through. When you get a laptop, you open it up and you go through these. Now I speak from Windows because that Windows is all I know. I'm gonna try and learn Linux on Try Hack Me when I go through that whole course on there and get a basics of Linux and stuff like that. But from a Windows standpoint, when you get a Windows laptop and you go through this and you do settings and you do updates and you do all this stuff, there's a whole lot of things that people don't know when it comes to that kind of stuff, and many of them don't care. If a couple years ago, I've talked to people and they've said the same thing. They said, "Well, I don't have anything to steal. What do I care if somebody hacks me?" And I'm sure a lot of people that are in the industry have heard this too. That's a big problem. When it gets to that point, I just try not to explain it to them because they're not interested, they don't care, and it's unfortunate that people just don't try to learn the basics when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I've got a lot of learning to do. I've got a certificate I've got to try to accomplish this weekend. Start maybe on a second one, try to do some reading, and go from there. And hopefully you enjoy my videos. Thank you for following my page. Hopefully some of you will subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we'll go from there, and we'll try to build a community on this end. So many people do a lot of things and their own networks and stuff like that. I'm trying to carve my own little niche of giving back to a particular crowd, a particular audience, and go from there and try to give my own little comeback or my little give back of what I can do on my end from my experience and my knowledge and what I learn every day. And every time something new comes up or a new experience I come across or something like that, I try to share it to make people aware of it and let them know, hey, this is what's going on now. So enjoy your weekend if you can, and the holidays are coming up pretty quick, so enjoy your holidays and be safe online. Pay attention.